Hello, boys and girls. So today for writing, we are going to make a chart. And on this chart, we are going to think of all kinds of different topics that we could write about. Now, my chart's going to look a little bit different than yours because you know things that I don't, and I know things that you don't. So, what we're going to do you remember a couple of weeks ago when we wrote down a couple of topics that are in our heart or that we know about or that we would like to write about? If you remember that, we are now going to make it on a chart so that you will keep this chart of things that you can write about. And then when I say you can write about any topic you would like, you could get this chart out to help you think about things you could write about. So we're going to make a chart today. And on the chart, we're going to split it down the middle. Okay, I'm going to draw a line down the middle and draw a line across. Wrote on my little thing. Draw a line across the middle of the paper. Okay, so now we have 4 boxes. Okay, in our first box, we are going to write animals. Okay, and I want you to do this with me. So pause this video if you do not have a paper in front of you, and you are going to get a piece of paper and do what I'm doing. So the first box is animals. The second box is events, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. The third box is places. And the fourth box is people. So I want you to write that down. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to pause it and write those words down for me. Okay, now that you're back, if you do not have that written, I want you to pause it and then come back. Okay, so now that you're back, we're going to think of animals that you could write about. So for me, animals that I could write about are dogs, cats, maybe horses, because I grew up with horses, and cows. But this list will be different for you, and I don't want you to fill in your list yet. I want you to wait. So put your paper aside, and you're going to watch me do it. And then this is going to be your writing time. You're going to be coming up with things you could write about. So you're going to work on this after this video. So right now you have animals, events, places, and people. And you're going to put it to the side, and you're going to watch me do mine. Okay? So I could write about dogs. I could write about cats. I could write about horses. And I could write about cows. I also think that sea turtles are cool. And I know some things about them, so I guess I could probably write about sea turtles. I could write about, let's see, any other animals that I know about? Eagles, because I watched quite a few videos on eagles. So eagles is one of them. All right, so those are my list. You are not doing my list. You are doing your own after this. And then events. Okay, so events. I could write about my birthday. That's an event. I could write about my wedding. When my children were born. Oops. My children were born. What else could I write about? Christmas, because we celebrate Christmas at our house. Christmas. Halloween with my kids. We like Halloween. I think that's all of the events I could write about for now. places. So places I have gone. I could write about the beach because we just went there not too long ago. And I could write about when I went to Italy. And let's see, I could write about my house. And maybe even the house I grew up in. Because they're different. I live in a different house now with my husband. Any other places I could write about? I could write about church. Okay. And then people, I could write about myself. I could write about Josh, my husband. I could write about Will or Ryan or Scarlett. I could write about my dad or my mom or my brother. So there's a lot of people I could write about. I could write about my nieces or nephews. Okay, so that's my list. So I just came up with a bunch of different things that I could write about. I came up with animals that I could write about. I came up with events that I could write about or things that have happened. I came up with places I went or places that I could write about. And I came up with people that I could write about. So that's what you are doing. You are coming up with, and you make your own, remember? Animals, events, places, and people that you could write about. And I want you to spend the entire time today, 15 minutes, coming up with this list. Okay, so that's what you're writing today. You are coming up with your own list of all of those things. And then so not today, but on a different day, and the rest of this week, you're going to be picking topics that you want to write about. And you can go to this list and you can say, oh, look, you can't ever say you don't know what to write about because look at all these things that I could write about, right? So today you're making that list. All right, I want to see your lists on Seesaw. I look forward to seeing them. Find a quiet place, work for 15 minutes. We're working on our stamina. And you can put the music on if you'd like to. Happy writing.